My husband's family trapped me in a room until I signed over my inheritance. His sister smirked, "You owe us everything." When I refused, my mother-in-law whispered, "Then you're never leaving." Hours later, the door burst open, and the last person they expected walked in. I don't even know where to start. My hands are shaking just writing this. I should have seen it coming. The red flags were right there, waving in my face. But love makes you stupid. And I was so stupid. Let me take you back to the beginning. My name is Sarah, and I'm from Chicago. I come from a hardworking, middle-class family that built their own business from the ground up. It wasn't easy, but my parents made something of themselves, and when they passed, they left me everything. Not billionaire money, but more than enough to live comfortably. More than enough to attract leeches. And that's how I ended up with Jake. At first, he was perfect. Too perfect. Sweet, charming, always saying the right things. He made me feel like we were on the same team, like he actually cared about me, not my bank account. We got married after 2 years of dating. It felt right at the time. I was an idiot. Looking back, I should have seen the signs. Jake's family was weird about money. Not in a normal way. Not in a "we grew up struggling, so we're careful" way. No. It was a "your money is ours" kind of weird. His mom, Evelyn, made comments all the time. "Jake's so lucky to have found you. You'll take good care of him." His dad, Robert, always cracked jokes about how a wife should contribute to the family pot. His sister, Michelle, would give me these smug little smiles whenever finances came up, like she knew something I didn't. It made me uncomfortable, but I ignored it. Then things got worse. Jake started pushing. We should start a business together. We should invest in a vacation property. We should combine our accounts. That's what married couples do. The way he said we made my stomach turn. Because he meant me. My money. My inheritance. I said no. I didn't say it rudely. I didn't yell or accuse him of being a gold digger. I just said no. And that was the moment he changed. The nice guy act cracked. "I don't understand why you won't support me. A marriage is a partnership, Sarah. You're being selfish." Evelyn got involved. "Sweetheart, you have so much. Wouldn't it feel good to share it?" Michelle chimed in. "If you don't help your husband, what's the point of being married?" The pressure was constant. I held firm. My parents worked their whole lives for that money. I wasn't about to set it on fire. Jake was pissed. And that's when they set the trap. Jake suggested we visit his parents for the weekend. A family getaway. I should have said no. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe I wanted to prove I wasn't the bad guy. Maybe I wanted to show them that I wasn't hoarding my money like a dragon. So, like a fool, I went. Their house was in the suburbs of Indianapolis. Big place. Not fancy, but comfortable. The kind of house that had been in the family for generations. The moment we stepped inside, I felt it. Something was wrong. Evelyn gave me this overly sweet smile. The kind of smile a lion gives before it pounces. Robert barely looked at me. Michelle stood in the doorway like a guard dog. Jake took my purse. I let him. "Let's put the phones away," he said. "We need to talk seriously." Then Evelyn pulled out a stack of papers. A contract. A legally binding document saying I would transfer half of my inheritance into a joint account. I laughed. I actually laughed. "You can't be serious." Michelle smirked. "You owe us everything." My stomach dropped. Evelyn's fake smile never wavered. "It's only fair, dear." Jake just stood there. That's when I realized he was never on my side. I stood up. "I'm not signing anything." Evelyn sighed, like I was a misbehaving child. Michelle rolled her eyes. "She'll change her mind." I grabbed my purse. Michelle blocked the door. Evelyn leaned in close. Too close. And whispered, "Then you're never leaving." Then they shoved me. Physically shoved me into a guest bedroom. The door slammed shut. The lock clicked. And just like that, I was trapped. I banged on the door. Screamed. Kicked. Nothing. I could hear them laughing in the hallway. "She'll calm down eventually. She doesn't have a choice." My own husband was out there. Listening. Doing nothing. I tried the windows. Nailed shut. No food. No water. No phone. Nothing. Panic set in. Was this legal? Were they actually doing this? Yes, they were. Because in their minds, I wasn't a person. I was a bank account. I sat on the floor, heart pounding. I had to get out. Hours passed. It was night when I heard it. A crash. Raised voices. Footsteps. Then, the door burst open. And the last person they expected stood there. The door slammed open so hard it hit the wall. I flinched, scrambling to my feet. My heart was racing, my body bracing for something worse. And then I saw him. My brother, Matthew. He stood in the doorway, breathing hard, eyes burning. Jake's entire family was behind him, staring in shock. What the F*** K is going on here? Matthew's voice was ice cold. No one spoke. Evelyn's face twisted. Michelle looked like she had been slapped. Robert stood there, his mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. Jake, the coward, was nowhere to be seen. I ran to Matthew. I don't even remember moving. 1 second I was in that room, the next I was clutching his arm. His hands landed on my shoulders, gripping tight. His eyes flicked down, taking in my appearance. Messy hair, tear-streaked face, wrinkled clothes. He looked at my wrist, where Michelle had grabbed me earlier. The skin there was red and bruised. Matthew's entire body went rigid. And then, he turned slowly. Looked straight at Evelyn. Explain. Now. Evelyn smiled. The audacity. Like she actually thought she could talk her way out of this. Oh, Matthew, sweetheart, she cooed, fake as ever. This is all just a big misunderstanding. Sarah's being dramatic. We were having a little family discussion, and she got emotional. Matthew didn't blink. Didn't move. Didn't even breathe. I know that look. It's the look he used to get when we were kids, right before he destroyed someone. So let me get this straight, Matthew said, his voice dangerously calm. You locked my sister in a room, took her phone, took her wallet, and refused to let her leave. Silence. Then Michelle snapped. Oh, get over yourself. She rolled her eyes, crossing her arms. It's not like we were keeping her forever. She's part of this family now. And family helps each other. Unlike some people. Matthew laughed. A low, dark laugh that made the hairs on my arm stand up. Then he turned back to me. Do you want to go? I nodded. He looked at Evelyn. Then she's King leaving. And that's when Jake finally decided to show his face. He came stumbling down the hall, his face pale. Jesus, Sarah, you're really making this into a thing? I felt my stomach turn. I had spent years loving this man. Years thinking he was kind, loyal, safe. And now? I was disgusted. You locked me in a room. My voice was deadpan. Flat. Empty. He shrugged. He shrugged. You weren't listening. Matthew moved. Fast. In an instant, he was in Jake's face. She wasn't listening. Jake took a step back. Dude, chill. Matthew didn't chill. Instead, he turned to me. You staying, or are we leaving? I didn't hesitate. We're leaving. I took one step forward. And Evelyn grabbed my arm. I yanked back hard. Evelyn didn't let go. Her nails dug into my skin. You're not leaving, she hissed, her mask finally slipping. The fake smiles, the sweet voice, it was all gone. Her face was twisted with rage. Like she had been denied something she thought was hers. Matthew reacted first. Shoved her away from me. Touch her again and see what happens. Evelyn stumbled back, eyes wide. Michelle lunged forward. I don't know what she thought she was going to do, but before she could even touch me, Matthew grabbed her by the collar and shoved her back against the wall. Her eyes went huge. What the hell is wrong with you people? He snapped. This isn't the King Mafia. You don't trap people in rooms and force them to sign contracts. Jake finally found his balls. You don't get it, man, he yelled. She has all this money just sitting there. While the rest of us, he stopped himself. Too late. He had said too much. And that's when I realized the truth. This wasn't just about Jake. This was a planned attack. They had never seen me as a person. I was just a paycheck. Jake knew if he asked me for the money, I'd say no. So they had come up with a new plan. The entire family was in on it. Evelyn's fake kindness? Manipulation. Michelle's smug looks? Confidence in their plan. Robert's silence? Complicity. And Jake? Jake had been playing the long game. Pretending to love me. Pretending to care. Waiting for the right moment to make his move. And now? They were all caught. I saw a panic flicker across Evelyn's face. She knew I had figured it out. Sweetheart, she started, but I was already shaking my head. I'm done. Jake's face darkened. You're not walking away from this, Sarah. Matthew stepped between us. Try and stop her. Jake hesitated. He knew Matthew would tear him apart. I turned to go. That's when Evelyn played her final card. If you leave, we'll make sure you regret it. And the way she said it made my blood turn ice cold. I wasn't safe yet. This wasn't over. Evelyn's voice rang in my ears. If you leave, we'll make sure you regret it. A threat. A real one. I had thought this nightmare was almost over, that I could just walk out and never look back. But the look in her eyes? That calculated malice? No. This wasn't over. Matthew tensed beside me. His hands curled into fists. But I knew my brother. He wouldn't hit an old woman, no matter how evil she was. Jake was silent. Michelle was smirking. And Robert? He was looking at Evelyn. Like he wasn't sure anymore. Like maybe this was too far, even for him. I took a step back, my body screaming at me to just run. But something stopped me. Something wasn't adding up. Why had Evelyn let this get so messy? She was a master manipulator. She should have lied, played the innocent mother-in-law, gaslit the hell out of me and Matthew, and made this seem like a misunderstanding. Instead, she was threatening me? Something was wrong. I turned to Jake. He was sweating. His jaw was clenched, his eyes darting back and forth like a trapped animal. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about the inheritance anymore. They weren't just hoping I'd sign over my money. They needed me to. Desperately. I forced my voice to stay steady. Why do you need my money so badly, Jake? He flinched. Bingo. Evelyn moved quickly. Sarah, sweetheart, don't let them fill your head with nonsense. But I wasn't listening to her anymore. I was watching Robert. Because Robert was still looking at Evelyn. And for the first time since I met him, he looked afraid. You're in debt. I said it before I even had time to think. Jake went rigid. Evelyn's fake smile vanished. Michelle's smirk faltered. And Robert? He let out a slow, shaky breath, like a man waiting for a bomb to go off. My heart started pounding. This was so much bigger than I thought. How bad is it? I pushed. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. Then Robert broke first. We owe people money. His voice was flat. Empty. Like he had already accepted his fate. Evelyn snapped her head toward him. Robert, shut up. But it was too late. The dam had cracked. Jake let out a choked laugh. His hands went into his hair, and he finally cracked too. It's bad, Sarah. They didn't just owe money. They owed the wrong people. My stomach twisted. Who do you owe? Evelyn's hands clenched at her sides. It doesn't matter. It does to me. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about greed. This wasn't about scamming the rich daughter-in-law. This was desperation. And that meant one thing. The people they owed money to weren't banks. They weren't credit card companies. They were dangerous. Jake licked his lips. He wouldn't look at me. And then, finally, he muttered two words that made my blood run cold. Loan sharks. My body locked up. Loan sharks. Not just any loan sharks. Indianapolis loan sharks. And if you know anything about them, you know they don't play games. My mind raced. They didn't just need money. They needed a lot of money. Fast. And suddenly, something clicked. I spun to Evelyn. You didn't just want my money. Evelyn lifted her chin. You have no idea what you're talking about. But I did. Oh, I did. Because this wasn't just about my inheritance. They wanted me to sign the papers. Legally. With my signature. And that's when I realized the worst part of all. They had already taken loans out in my name. I felt like I was going to be sick. They must have stolen my documents. Opened lines of credit. Taken out loans using my information. I had no idea how much they had taken. Tens of thousands? Hundreds of thousands? I didn't even know if my accounts were still mine. Evelyn's mask was gone. She didn't even bother pretending anymore. She just stared at me. Like a predator sizing up prey. She knew I had figured it out. And she was waiting to see what I'd do next. I could hear my own heartbeat. Then, my phone buzzed. And I don't know how, but Evelyn knew exactly what that meant. Her face twisted in panic. And that's when I knew they weren't the only ones in this house. There were more people outside. People I didn't want to meet. I wasn't just trying to escape anymore. I was trying to survive. My phone buzzed again. I had no idea who was calling. But the fact that Evelyn flinched told me all I needed to know. Someone was outside. And whoever they were. She was scared of them. The air in the house shifted. The smugness in Michelle's face was gone. Robert looked like he wanted to sink into the floor. And Jake? Jake wouldn't meet my eyes. Matthew took a step toward me. We're leaving. Right now. Evelyn moved fast. She darted for the front door, her voice high and desperate. We can still fix this, Sarah. You don't understand what's at stake here. But I was already moving. I shoved past Michelle. She grabbed my arm. We're all in this together, she hissed. If you screw us over, you'll regret it. I ripped my arm away. You're already screwed. Because I wasn't just guessing anymore. I knew the truth. They had stolen my identity. They had taken out loans in my name. And now, the people they owed money to were here. Matthew and I made it to the front door first. The moment we stepped outside, I felt my stomach drop. 3 men were standing at the bottom of the driveway. Suits. Too clean. Too sharp. Like they wanted you to know they weren't thugs. They were professionals. The kind of men who handled problems. One of them, a tall man with silver hair, smiled when he saw Evelyn. Not a kind smile. A warning, Mrs. Carter. His voice was smooth. It's time we talked. Evelyn froze. For the first time since I met her, she looked genuinely afraid. Michelle appeared behind me, whispering under her breath. Oh my God. Jake stood on the porch, shaking. Sarah, don't do anything stupid. I ignored him. Matthew did not. He turned so fast that Jake actually flinched. You stole from her. Matthew's voice was pure fury. And now you've put her in danger? Jake tried to shrug it off. It's not that simple. Matthew punched him. Full force. Jake stumbled back, hitting the porch railing. Michelle screamed. Evelyn rushed forward. Stop it. This isn't helping anything. But Matthew wasn't listening. Neither was I. I walked right up to Silverhair. And before Evelyn could stop me, I said the words that would change everything. I didn't take those loans. His eyes flickered. No, I turned and pointed straight at Evelyn. They did. Everything happened so fast. Silverhair tilted his head, eyes locking onto Evelyn like a predator sizing up prey. Michelle lost it. Sarah, shut up. Evelyn's breath hitched. You don't know what you're saying. But I did. I had never been more certain in my life. I stepped towards Silverhair. They forged my signature. His smile widened. I see. Evelyn lunged forward. Please, we can fix this. We just need more time. Silverhair raised a hand. She stopped talking. Behind him, the other men started moving. Not toward me. Toward them. Evelyn panicked first. Sarah, please. We're family. I laughed. I actually laughed. Because after everything they did, after trapping me in a room, trying to steal my money, putting my life at risk, now they wanted to be family? No, they weren't my family. They were criminals. Michelle was crying. Robert looked like he was going to collapse. And Jake? Jake just stood there, looking at me like he finally understood. I wasn't his wife anymore. I was his biggest mistake. I don't know what happened after that. Not exactly. The men took Evelyn, Michelle, and Robert inside. Shut the door. Jake tried to run. Matthew stopped him. And I walked away. I didn't look back. The next few weeks were a mess. I spent days locking down my accounts, talking to banks, trying to undo the damage they had done. I filed charges. Identity theft. Fraud. The cops got involved. The feds got involved. Jake tried to call me. I blocked him. Michelle sent me a long, unhinged email about how I had destroyed their family. I didn't respond. Evelyn? Evelyn tried to bargain. Offered to make things right if I dropped the charges. I laughed in her face. Because the truth? There was no fixing this. I won. Not just in court, though I did win that too. I won my life back. I was finally free. But the scars? They stayed. Even now, sometimes I wake up in a cold sweat, thinking I'm still trapped in that room. Thinking Evelyn is waiting for me outside the door. But then I remember. I remember how her face looked when the men took her inside. How Jake finally realized he lost. How Matthew stood by me through it all. And I breathe. Because in the end, I walked away. And I never looked back. If you take one thing from my story, protect yourself. Never ignore the red flags. And if someone tries to steal what's yours, make sure they regret it. Because revenge is the best inheritance.